everyone. Today we are going to see about the experiment number 4, which is statistical interference. Mainly in this experiment, we will do the mean median mode of the problems or the given data or the CSV. So in first question, we are going to calculate the sample mean of the price column by selecting a random sample of 40 observations. So in this, we have random state 1, 2, and 3, and the n value is 40. That is the random sample of 40 observation. Since we are going to take the price column, we have given price in the particular mean, and then we have taken the mean value of for sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3. The next question is to calculate the sample mean for the price column with n is equal to 80 and compare it with the sample mean obtained for n is equal to 40. So sample mean we have given as n is equal to 80 and random status 42. Since we need 40 number of values, then we have taken the sample mean with the n is equal to 80 and n is equal to 40 with the task 1, sample and 1. The next question is to calculate the population mean of the price column for each fuel type. So we have imported the data type, that is Toyota.csv. So using the group by value, we have given the fuel type and price. So since we are going to print the population mean of the fuel type, we have given the mean. So according to that, it will give the fuel type CNG, diesel, and petrol. The next question is to calculate the 95% confidential interval for the population mean of the price using a sample size of 10, that is equal to 40. Observe whether the population mean falls within the calculated confidence interval. So we are going to import the numpy and script stats library. Then we are going to give the sample 40 as price column, and then sample n is equal to 40 and random state 42. Then x bar will be given as sample 40, then s is equal to sample 40 s dot df, and n value will be given as 40. Since we are going to calculate the observation with the population mean and confidence interval, we have given the formula, that is stats dot t dot interval is equal to 0.95, then the other values. Then using the population mean values and the confidence interval, we are going to print the population mean and 95% confidential interval. The fifth question is to change the confidence level to 95%, 99% and calculate the confidence interval using this same sample of n is equal to 40 and compare the width of the 95% and 99% confidence interval. Using the CI 99 formula, we are going to calculate. Then we are going to measure the width of the 95% CA and 99% CA. Then we are going to give the 99% confidence interval. The sixth question is to select 25 random sample, each containing n is equal to 40 observation, and calculate the 95% confidence interval for price for each sample and plot all 25 confidence interval. Identify how many intervals containing the population mean. Using the formula for I range in the 25% and importing the matplotlib library, we are going to give the other values. Then using the AVX line and other labels, we have plotted the graph which will give the 25% samples, that is 95% confidence interval for vehicle price. The true prop means it will give the price units along with the sample index. The next question is to consider the variable agent price, calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient between the two types of each fuel type, and interpret whether the relationship is positive or negative. So here we are going to input pandas and we'll give the Toyota.csv. Then using the fuel type or the other values, we are going to set the age, price, and Pearson values. Then according to which we'll give the other values also. Then we are going to consider the variable Km and Pm price, calculate the Pearson rank correlation coefficient for each fuel type, and compare the result with the Pearson correlation coefficient. So here we are going to import the CSV file. Then we are going to give the type set and fuel type and the unique values and subset and Pearson values we are going to give, and Pearson values has given a subset and correlation will be also given. Then using the print statement, we are going to print the fuel type, Pearson correlation, and Spearman. The next question is to calculate the covariance matrix for the numerical values price, age, km, HPCC, and weight for each fuel type. Identify the pairs of variable having the highest positive and negative covariance. So first we are going to import the CSV data, and we are going to do the numerous features like price, age, km, HPCC, and weight. Then using the num features, we are going to give the columns and variables and fuel type, then subset and covariance matrix. And using this, we are going to print the covariance matrix of the diesel and petrol. The last question is to perform a hypothesis test using the z-text. The average price of cars using a particular fuel type is claimed to be 12,000 units. The population standard deviation is known to be 2,500 units. A random sample of 50 cars has an average price of 12,750 units. And test whether there is sufficient evidence to conclude that the average price is greater than 12,000 at the 5% significant level. So here we are going to import the numpy and script stats library. Then we are going to give the sigma, n value, x bar value, alpha value, s stat value, and p value. After that, we are going to plot it in a graph using the z statics and critical value. Then we are going to print the statement. This is all about the fourth experiment. Thank you.